Hey, hey, hey. What's good, beloveds? It's Tuesdays with Tawana. Yes, welcome to Tuesday. Welcome to this divine space. I am Dr. Tad, your host and your curator for Tuesdays with Tawana, a place where we build community one womanist episode at a time. This vodcast turned podcast is a way for us to just have conversation, to talk about current events, current feels, current things that are coming up for us, whether joyous or otherwise. We co-create this space together. Uh, Today, I just need to name where I am in this space. Um, I am not fully present. Um, and I'm gonna do something that I normally don't do, and that is change this title right here because we have permission to make changes and do what we need to do right in the middle of an episode. So today, our theme for today is finally, if you are joining us for the first time, whether live or later on the podcast, welcome, welcome, welcome. What we do live is if you pop your greetings in the chat or any questions or concerns or anything of that nature, I will insert your voice into this narrative. Yeah, let's get it popping. Again, Dr. Tad, your host and your curator for Tuesdays with Tawana. And this is what we do every Tuesday at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. We chop it up and we invite community into this space. So I invite you to chop it up with me today. I was saying just moments ago that I am just in a space and this was on my heart to move forward and still be present for myself and be present for community and to um, emulate what it is when we are just not 100%. And I'm not. My health is good. Please, my health is fine. Um, hey, Pammy, I just love you. Um, So yeah, so let's get it popping. Let's get it popping. First, I want to just send a special thanks and so much love to Pamela, um, from last week when we talked about Pastor Keon and his interaction with a parishioner. This is how we build community when we offer a different way of thinking of things or expanding our thoughts from our limited purview. And when I do this, not linear, but just based on what we know, based on our experiences. And this is why it's so important to have and build community because then we get to be curious and be, intuitive about someone else's experience and embodying that and saying, that's a different way to think of it. That's a different way to look at it. Or I see you, I honor you, and I don't agree. And we can still go and chop it up and have dinner or whatever. So, we emulate different relational opportunities in this space because we don't have this type of opportunity to do so often. We are surrounded by white Western ideologies, and we don't have a chance to really impart who we are, how we show up in this world, Black and unapologetically, without pushback, without being dehumanized, without being invisibilized. So, this space is to center Blackness and to invite all beloveds into this space. to learn how to center another, center those that are historically marginalized, center those that do not have access and who are usually at the top of numbers that are harming us and um, causing undue pain and premature deaths and due to lack of access and food and things of that nature. So this is the space. Tuesdays with Tawana. This is the space. 30 minutes to kind of, be a thought provoker and to invite everyone into community. Oh, Julie, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad I showed up today too. There's healing in community, and I am so grateful. And Pammy says she loves me more. I love it. I love it. I love it. So let's chop it up a bit. I've been listening to this song. My little sister is on. Hey Tony. I love the family pictures y'all took for Mother's Day. Mama Love, mwah, love her dearly. Love all of you, my siblings. I'm glad y'all had an opportunity to spend time together, and I'm sure Monique did the t-shirts. Just a little plug. If y'all need t-shirts done, hit Tanisha up in this chat or in a private message. Her sister Monique does an amazing job with t-shirts for sure. So today I want to read some lyrics. There's this song from The Color Purple called Finally, and it just resonated with me so much. And I want to offer this to you. Tanisha said Monique did the t-shirts literally right before dinner. That because she's the bomb. She is very creative. So yeah, she'll be hearing from me because I need some t-shirts done when I unveil the clothing line. But that's another story. So just rock with me for a moment as I read these lyrics finally um by Georgia Smith. And the first verse says, I can see victory over the clouds. Let go of misery holding me down. I can go places where ain't no love allowed. I was a tragedy. Look at me now. Perfect timing. Now I'm shining. Now I'm blinding them whenever I'm smiling. No more hiding. Now I'm living out loud. What a sight to see. Wow. It ain't no mystery. I'm feeling me again. If you know my history, then you don't know who I am. It's a celebration, private conversation. Bye bye to hesitation. It's only elevation, and the sun don't rise till I walk in the room. I'm showing up for me finally. I'm taking care of me finally. Yeah, I'm loving me finally. Finally. Yes, I'm loving me finally. And I wanted to bring that into this space for various reasons. One, there are many of us, some of us, a few of us, whatever the number is, that uh, don't know or truly understand what it is to love oneself and to love oneself unconditionally with unconditional positive regard, and to be able to forgive oneself of decisions that were made that weren't the best decisions, or actions that were taken that were missteps and mishaps. And loving yourself is about learning to love yourself unconditionally and being able to have that grace and mercy that God bestows upon us and with us. And since God abides in us, we have an opportunity to afford ourselves that same type of grace and mercy finally. because the world, because of history, because of what's happening right now with elections and trials and trying to put Marilyn Mosby, sentence her to 40 years and just the timing of it, learning to love ourselves so that we may love another. And that's how we build community and being forgiving and being graceful and also being authentic and truth telling. And in order for us to be authentic, that means we have to know ourselves. We have to know what makes us happy, what makes us sad, what triggers us in an adverse way, and what triggers joyous moments, and those moments that, you know, make us feel good. It's a both and. It's this entire um like an ecosystem just in one person and all of these feelings. So I chose this theme finally because it is Mental Health Awareness Month. It was also Teacher Appreciation Week. I believe it was Nurse Appreciation Week. And one of the reasons why we have appreciation weeks or Black History Month or AAPI awareness, what LGBTQIA plus aware, pride. We have all those things because it's usually rooted out of those groups that have been marginalized. And we need those moments to acknowledge those beloveds because they're underpaid, undervalued, dehumanized, disrespected, asked to be a part of this grind culture, not caring for self, not caring for bodies, for human beings, not bodies as a commodity, but human beings. So when we have these moments, yeah, we can celebrate in those moments, but when are we going to get to a place where we don't have to celebrate those moments because it's the norm? Finally. It is the norm to be humanized. It is the norm to be seen. It is the norm to be honored. It is the norm to be loved. It is the norm to be respected. Finally, after ages and ages of fighting and fighting and fighting for justice, from beloveds like Harriet Tubman to Sojourner Truth to Fannie Lou Hamer to Audre Lorde to Maya Angelou um, to others, to Adrienne Marie Brown, to Bishop Trisha Hersey, to womanism, to, I mean, the list goes on, constantly fighting for our rights. And when it seems like we take a step forward, then somebody comes and snatches the rug from under us and causes us to take a few steps back, especially during, or particularly, not especially, but particularly during Mental Health Awareness Month. There are so many different mental health challenges, people on a quest for mental health. And one thing is, when we were talking about Pastor Ken last week, and what I was struggling with and still struggling with, but the struggle is good because I'm open to struggle and be amenable to learning is when people have mental health challenges. And let me take it out of the church because then we get into this, is it mental health? Is it demonic? Is it, other things going on? Let's take it out of that let's take it out of that. Um, so if someone is having a mental health crisis, it takes, this is why healing happens in community because that person may not know the language or may not know that they need help or may not know that they are ill or may not know that they have a diagnosis or may not know, and for various reasons. One, because unfortunately in the Black community, oftentimes seeking some type of mental health is taboo, or it's you just need Jesus, you need to pray, you don't need medication, you don't need to get help, or there's a part of guilt and shame that comes along with it. And I want to name those things because those things are not for you to harbor shame and guilt. It is shameful that one is forced to go through that because of the ignorance of those people who continue to box those with mental challenges, mental health challenges in, and then ostracize them and just want them to go away somewhere. It's just like, the challenges with our houseless beloveds, and you don't want them in, camping out in certain areas or in front of your building or next door, but move them to where? What are we doing to speak life, to be able to get beloveds the help that they need, the medication that they need, the jobs that they need, the basic needs, food, water, shelter, what are those basic needs that we can afford them so people can afford and have an opportunity to afford to live a life on this quest for mental wellness. Instead, we just say, oh, that person is crazy. And we have also shifted that narrative and that language, saying stuff is crazy because it's attributed to an ignorant statement with those who have mental health challenges. So it takes community for us to come together. And I know it's very difficult and challenging. Let me name this, to want something more than someone wants it for themselves. But what about when that person doesn't even know that they want it for themselves, that there's even something to want, that there's something to hope for, that there is something to be well because they're stuck in this mindset of whatever disorder or dysfunction that they have and don't even have the capability to think outside of that said thing. So it's up to us who have a modicum of mental wellness to be able to provide support and to humanize the experience of these beloveds so that they can finally love themselves. I was a tragedy. Look at me now. Like my life was doomed for tragic outcomes. And look at me now. And we want people, beloveds, to be able to share that story in their storytelling as they are building community, helping people to understand that it takes community, it takes truth tellers. I have a beautiful comrade who is constantly pulling me in and saying, Rev T, let's talk about that. And I am open. I'm not I'm very mindful of my openness and not defensiveness because I at least have an opportunity to listen before I automatically just be shut down and become defensive and disagree. That person may have some nuggets for me and some love for me and information for me that will help me. So in order for me to get to that place, though, I finally have to love me for me. When I walk into the room, the sun don't shine till I walk in the room. My light, my divine light is shining, and it brings attention and hopefully catches on like candles lighting each other. I have a lit candle, and when I light your wick, then it lights up, and then the other, and it keeps going and it keeps going. So we are here finally loving ourselves and honoring ourselves, and then being able to see someone else who is going through said challenges. And maybe there is something that we can do to fill the gap. Maybe there is something that we can do to journey with them. Maybe we don't have the experience or the training or the know-how, but we can connect that person with someone else, or systems that weren't designed for us to begin with should be dismantled, especially when it comes to how do we interact, how do we help, how do we support, how do we love, how do we journey with those who are dealing with their a quest to mental wellness when they don't even know that they have mental health challenges. And sometimes it's like looking in a mirror, because when we humanize another beloved, no matter what they are going through, they are a beloved human being. And systems will tell us that they're not worthy, that they're just crazy, or naming diagnoses when you don't have degree the first or training the first to diagnose anyone with anything. You don't know if they have bipolar. You don't know if they have schizophrenia. You don't know if they struggle with depression or anxiety, and the list goes on and on and on. But how do you then have enough information to be able to help that person? Which is why every single episode, the ticker across, always has the domestic violence hotline and the suicide lifeline, because you never know what someone is going through. And the least I can do on this platform, even when I am not talking about mental wellness specifically, there is something there that tells someone that I see you and I want you to get help. I want you to be loved unconditionally. I want you to be supported. I want you to feel like you are worthy, because many of us are all one paycheck short of being houseless. And then those conditions may mess with our mental state, because now our basic needs have been taken away. And not everybody has family where you can go and stay with someone, or a family that has the finances and the resources to help you out. So if we remove again that judgment, and we talk about this a lot on in this platform, if we remove the judgment and insert curiosity, who are you? How did you get here? Do you know what help you need? How can I connect you to someone? Can you commit to being open to receive help? Um, I mean, the list goes on and on. Being curious instead of judgmental, just like I mentioned with Shay Shay and Amanda Seales and how he gaslighted her. What happened to the level of curiosity to say, what made you feel that way? Help me help you. Help me to understand. That means I have to remove my ego and my self-aggrandizement, because I know so much. Removing that so that I can be present with someone just based on their humanity. And because of their humanity, there is an unconditional positive regard that um, I can exemplify, that I can posit into this moment. So finally, I am loving me for me, with all my flaws, all my mistakes, all my mishaps, all of my challenges, through the pain, through heartbreak. I still have to love me for me, the wholeness of me, because those things are a part, but they don't define who I am. Justin Timberlake on his last album has this song. His last song is called Conditions. And if you have access to it, I would love for you to listen to it. It basically says, will you still love me through all of my conditions. And so I offer that not only to you, but to ask you, can you love me with all of my conditions? And can I love you with your conditions? And if those conditions aren't serving us well, then we can help each other move through it to healing, to health, and to wholeness. Thank you for sitting with me today. Thank you for um, giving me the space to just be, because my body is real heavy. I'm real heavy, and I'm gonna take some time, spend some time with my family, and take care of myself. And I encourage you to do the same, even if it's just slipping away for 10 or 15 minutes. Take a deep breath, look in the mirror, and read Georgia Smith's lyrics from Finally from The Color Purple, the movie. Yes, I'm loving me finally, loving me for me and who I be. And then I could teach you how to love me because I know how to love myself. This is Dr. Tad with Tuesdays with Tawana. Thank you for joining, and I hope to see you on next week. Later, beloveds.